Naturalists Virginia Delgado Martinez and I, Kevin Dixon, want you to meet some very special, very fast, very fierce birds, and a man who spends a lot of time trying to make sure they will be okay for years to come. On the first day of June 2020, Virginia and I were lucky to have the chance to accompany East Bay Park's biologist Doug Bell as he investigated a prairie falcon nest, climbed up the cliff, removed the chicks, banded them all, and returned them. We helped out a little, but partly because of social distancing, Doug had to do nearly everything on his own. We arrived at the nesting spot in the late morning, and we could see the falcon chicks in their pothole in the sandstone cliff. They were mostly just hanging out on the ledge, waiting to see if one of their parents would show up with food. Doug scrambled up the steep hillside near the cliff with all of his climbing gear. When he got to the top, he asked for help to pinpoint the nest because it was underneath an overhang and he couldn't see it directly. Then he dropped his climbing rope down in the right spot and scrambled back down the hillside. After he dropped the rope, but before he started up the cliff, one of the parents came back to the nest. I didn't realize it at the time, but it had brought back a large bird for its chicks to eat, in spite of the rope now hanging in front of the nest. I discovered this by looking later at the pictures I took. No wonder the chicks were so excited. The falcon's prey may have been a meadowlark. Doug also found crow remains at the bottom of the cliff. After the parent brought the food and made sure everyone in the nest was okay, it left. Again, I couldn't tell at the time, but this bird had a band on each leg. I'll talk more about why birds might have bands on their legs later. Doug got a surprise when he arrived at the bottom of the cliff, ready to climb. Tucked in against the rock was a falcon chick, not yet ready to fly. It's a good thing for this chick that Doug arrived when he did, since he had fallen prematurely from the nest. Many turkey vultures were roosting in the pine trees around the nest area. Doug thought maybe to eat prey that the falcons had dropped. Virginia decided to name this small falcon Lucky. We made sure Lucky was okay in the shade while Doug started to climb toward the nest. One by one, Doug removed the falcon chicks from the nest and put them in a mesh carrier slung around his neck. As you might expect, and as you can see from the photos, the chicks were not happy about this at all. These chicks were older than the ones that Doug usually bands and were not far away from fledging, that is, being able to fly on their own. This means that they were very strong already, with powerful beaks and talons. The female chicks are much bigger and more powerful than the male chicks. That's true for the parent birds too. Before Doug came down, he cleaned out the nest a little. You can see him smiling and holding a handful of ground squirrel tails. Ground squirrels might be the prairie falcon's favorite food. After all 4 chicks from the pothole nest were in the bag, Doug climbed back down and started on his next job, taking down all the scientific details about the birds and putting bands on their legs, a silver one for the right leg and a green one for the left. We found out how big the birds were by measuring them with calipers and by weighing each one. Doug also took a tiny blood sample from each bird. You can see in the pictures that the chicks did not like any of this. Doug put hoods on them, and this made them calmer. After Doug banded the largest female chick, she was still so spunky that we decided that to lessen her stress, we would skip the measuring and weighing. While Doug was banding and the chicks were down with us, the parents flew around the area above us a few times, shrieking with concern. I know it might seem like we were troubling this falcon family too much, but Doug explained to us why what he was doing is important. Prairie falcons, like a lot of other birds, can't find homes and food in a lot of the places they used to, mostly because of things humans do, like building roads and cities and suburbs. So Doug and the other biologists around the country all stay in touch with each other. They share important information and keep track of the birds to see how long they live, where they go, how they are doing, and how they can be protected. All of the information that Doug got on this day and the bands he put around their legs may save falcons' lives in the future. Virginia and I are very happy that these falcons chose to live in our park and that the parents have raised 5 healthy chicks. Remember, that was 4 that Doug brought down from the nest and Lucky, who Doug took back up when he put all the birds back. So that should get you started on your journey into prairie falcon land. If you want to learn a lot more, click on the link at the bottom of this post. Happy birding, everyone!